Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm going to film this in one take so I can quickly upload it. We're filming this Thursday night, and you'll probably see this Friday morning. So we're getting ready to go to the track. We're showing, I think it's like a 15% chance of rain tomorrow, but they're really only showing it in the morning. So if I get past that, I should be good in the evening. So it looks like we'll be drag racing. So we made a little quick list of things we needed to do. We did crank it up and warm it up just to hopefully circulate any air out of the cooling system. So in the morning when it's cooled off, we'll top off the radiator. Went through a little checklist. We got it strapped down. Actually was able to do that. So these hook into the control arms under the car, so that actually kind of works out. And we got it strapped in the back as well. We were able to get it on the trailer with these crappy ramps. There's the straps in the back. So I really don't like it, but it worked. I'll tell you what I did. We're going to have to change this because it's sketchy AF. So I put those two blocks plus another one under the jack and lifted it all the way up. And you can actually see it's like crooked just sitting here. I mean, it's kind of sketch. This thing was bent when I bought it, even though they claim it's not, but it is. So we got to get some ramps or maybe something to drive the back tires of the truck up on, something. But anyway, if you do pick the front up enough, it does lower the tail enough that you can get this on and off the trailer. So it does actually work, even though it is kind of a little bit sketch. But hey, it's on the trailer. Right now we're charging. I thought we had this, so I charged the car up last week, and then I did crank it up today and warm it up, and maybe it used more power than I thought, but it's been charging for, maybe not that long, but you can see it shows like 9 amps. It's basically like constant current charging right now until the voltage gets up, and then it'll go to constant voltage charging. So we're going to hang out at the shop, let this thing finish getting the battery fully topped up, because I want to go to the track with for sure with a full battery. I don't want to be thinking about that. But yeah, I'd say overall, there's only one thing that stands out to me, but I think it's just a characteristic of the car. So after it warmed up, I tried doing a trans brake launch, and man, this thing is so slow to spool. Now admittedly, I haven't drove it. All I did was idle it, so the trans wasn't really up to temp. And that does make a big difference in how it spools, because when the converter gets hot, it loosens up, which helps the motor rev. And when the motor can rev, it can, more exhaust goes into the turbo and it makes more boost and blah, blah, blah. So hopefully that's all it was. But man, it spooled like total ass. I didn't even get but like 1, maybe 2 pounds of boost after sitting on the trans brake for several seconds. So if it does that at the track, this car is going to be running like 10s or 11s. So probably at a high mile an hour, but it's going to be slow. So hopefully when it gets good and hot and we get some heat in the trans, it'll loosen up a bit. If it really is like that at the track, like if we make a few passes and it's still, cold and really slow to spool, depending how it drives, we may just send the converter and get it redone because it's just too tight. So we'll see. But that's a big note pre-track that I am worried about as far as performance goes. Otherwise, it seemed okay. It was idling a little low. I have no idea what that was about. It hasn't done that before, but I didn't have the laptop plugged in. So basically tomorrow I'll see if, it is really rich, so maybe that's it. And we changed motor oil. We went from, we've always run 1030 in this car, or 530, 1030, whatever. We got 2050 in it now. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I've always thought that thinner oils were better because they flow more, so you get more cooling at the bearing. But you do get less cushion, and if it gets really hot, those thin oils can become too thin, and they don't protect. And we have had bearing issues in this motor at high RPM. So maybe the thicker oils will help. Because even when I ran thin oils, I had a big oil cooler, but I could still see, like with enough load and enough RPM, that no matter how cool the oil is, when it gets between the bearing and the cranks rotating, that it just locally heats up and gets too thin too fast. So maybe the thick oil is better. We'll just have to see. But it's in there. All the other fluids look good. Like I said, we're going to check the coolant once it cools off, because that's important. Just make sure all that's looking good. Trailer looks good. We'll, I already checked the tires. All that looks nice. So I believe the trailer is good to go. So we did get a few things ready for the track. Got our helmet, got a jacket. We packed up a little toolbox. This is pretty basic. Just got some wrenches, some Allen wrenches, some ratchets, a light, air gauge and air chuck, another light. Can't have too many lights. Got one in my pocket too. Some gloves, some wrenches, just basic stuff, some rags, voltmeter. Hopefully we don't need that. So, yeah. keeping it simple. We could, you know, we're not going to bring the shop with me. If this thing gets too bad, it's going back on the trailer. Worry about it later. So this is our first test and tune. Got a little water. We do have goggles, so I don't know if we're going to switch the car to methanol on the first night out. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But if we do switch to meth, I want to have goggles when I'm handling it, so I don't accidentally get any in my eyes. Bought these a while back. They're like kind of like a wet wipe for like wiping something down, but these are for your hands, and they have like pumice in them or something. They're pretty badass, but they don't leave residue. It's weird. They're like kind of awesome. So we got those. Grabbed a power cord. We're gonna pick up my generator at the house. Bring that, just in case we may actually use that. I don't know, but I'd rather have it and not need it. We got a fuel can. Actually, we need to get some fuel, so probably tomorrow we'll top that off with E85. So my plan is the car, I filled the car up and then I cranked it up and idled and shut it down. So I suppose, we'll see. It couldn't have burned much fuel heating up. But basically it's mostly full. We're going to fill this up tomorrow, so we'll have fuel. I don't think we're going to burn that much E85, and I really want to switch to methanol anyway. So when I get to the track, if I make a few passes and it feels good and I think it's time to go to methanol, then basically we're going to dump this into an empty can. I'm going to bring a couple of, I'm going to bring one with 93 octane for the generator, and an empty one that if there's any left here, I can dump it in the empty one, get this one filled with methanol, and then use this can to fill my race car. So that'll be the plan for that. That would be cool. I mean, we may or may not switch this thing to methanol tomorrow. We'll see. If you do, it's corrosive, so, you know, got to deal with that too. But, hey, if it's time, it's time, you know. So anyway, that's kind of our update. Pretty short. Wish me luck. Hope this, hope everything goes okay. You know, like I said, it's been 6 years, so anything could happen. But with some luck, we'll get a few passes, and maybe we'll do all right. You know, like I said, I'm worried about that spool. Now, I know a while back I did get this thing to take off, so like as far as boost, it took a few seconds, but it did start to build boost, so I know it'll do it. Maybe it's just got to get hotter. I mean, like I said, idling isn't really the same as driving it, you know, so maybe if I drive it around, put it under load, it'll finally get enough heat in it that it'll spool. But yeah, we definitely, 7670, you know, it's a little big for the BP. It's hard to get that thing to spool. So worst case, we'll put nitrous or compressed air setup or something to get this thing to spool. But for now, she's going to the track. We're going to run what we brung, as they say. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, and you know, I'll have some updates as soon as possible so I can show you guys the good or the bad of how this goes. All right, guys. Till next time, y'all take it easy.